Cosby, any comments, sir?
Tonight, Bill Cosby is spending his first night behind bars after emerging from the courtroom in handcuffs today, sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison.
He was supposed to grow old, see his daughter get married, and take one last bow on stage, smiling with pride. But that dream never came true. Malcolm-Jamal Warner was buried, not with celebration or closure, but with silence. Now, that silence has finally shattered. It all began with a grieving mother, a mysterious USB drive that shouldn't have existed, and a voice that trembled with truth. The final piece of evidence that changed everything came from Pamela Warner, a mother who had spent years in heartbreak. Her voice cracked, her hands shook, her eyes were tired from crying, but her spirit was unshaken because of her courage. A man was arrested. Bill Cosby, once loved by millions, now stood in handcuffs. And Malcolm's death, it wasn't just an accident anymore. Pamela's tearful confession was broadcast across the globe. She said the words no mother should ever have to say. He didn't drown, he was silenced by a system that protected monsters and punished those who told the truth. The papers were real, the videos were raw, but nothing was more real than her pain. A shocking memo, a goodbye video, a hidden folder. It all came flooding out. They thought they could erase him, but they didn't expect the fire of a mother who refused to let her son be forgotten. The same machine that tried to bury Malcolm is now falling apart. This is more than a scandal. It's a revolution. Bill Cosby has been arrested, but this is only the beginning. Because Malcolm didn't just vanish. He left behind a mission. And now, his truth is echoing everywhere. Outside the federal courthouse in Los Angeles, flashing lights filled the sky. Reporters fought to get closer. Fans cried in the streets. A black SUV pulled up slowly, the door opened, and with agents at his sides, Bill Cosby walked out, silent and cold. This wasn't fiction. It wasn't rumor. It was real. Despite years of whispers, doubts, and conspiracies, nobody thought it would come to this. Until Pamela Warner stood tall and said, "He killed my son." Her voice didn't need a script. It wasn't polished. It was raw and heartbreaking. She didn't want revenge. She wanted justice. Not just for Malcolm, but for everyone who had been silenced by money, contracts, and fake smiles. Malcolm-Jamal Warner was more than just Theo Huxtable. He was the soul of a generation, a boy who grew up on our screens, a man who brought joy to millions. But on July 20th, 2025, that joy ended. The official report claimed he drowned. A peaceful beach in Costa Rica. No signs of a struggle. No witnesses. Case closed. But mothers remember. They remember the sound of their child's last call, the strange words, the fear in their voice. Pamela remembered. "Tell the world I wasn't lying. If something happens to me, Mom." Those words haunted her. Something didn't sit right. She couldn't move on. Then she found it. In the lining of an old winter coat. A USB drive, still sealed, still waiting. 5 chilling words on the envelope. "Just in case I get hurt." Her hands trembled as she plugged it in. And when she saw what was inside, her heart broke all over again. Private memos, phone logs, secret recordings, money transfers, legal documents signed by powerful names, a folder labeled Shadow Network, and one name, over and over again. Bill Cosby. At first, it made no sense. Why would her son be tied to someone like that? Then she watched the video. Malcolm looked tired, alone. His voice was low. His eyes filled with fear. "If you're watching this, I didn't make it. Or someone made sure I wouldn't." He spoke of a network, a group of people who erased the truth, who silenced anyone who knew too much. They don't just kill your story. They erase you. Pamela fell to her knees. Her son hadn't just died. He was taken. She took everything to the Department of Justice. She handed over the recordings, the files, the videos. Then she waited. Weeks passed. Then, one evening, her phone buzzed. An unknown number. One simple message. "Turn on the news." Breaking reports across every network. The DOJ had opened a federal investigation into Malcolm's death, and within 72 hours, Bill Cosby was arrested. Pamela watched in silence. No cheers, no celebration, just quiet tears. After all these years, someone had finally listened. Outside the courthouse, people gathered. They held signs, candles, posters. Some said, "He didn't drown," others, "He drowned in silence." Clips from Malcolm's video began spreading online. Pieces of his final words. People started speaking up. Studio workers, legal assistants, even a late-night show producer. One voicemail sent chills across the country. "We were told not to touch the video. He had proof, but they told us to ignore it." Pamela wasn't just a grieving mom anymore. She became a voice for a generation. Her face filled TV screens. Her words filled articles. She said it again and again. "They didn't just kill my son. They erased him, and I won't stop until the world knows who did it." And the world listened. The system that had hidden abuse for decades was now under a spotlight. Cosby, once America's favorite dad, now looked like something much darker. His legal team scrambled. Publicists went quiet. Hollywood execs refused to comment. But it was too late. The truth was out, and it all started with a mother's love. Bill Cosby is behind bars, but Malcolm's story ain't over. They thought Pamela would fade away, that the buzz would disappear, that this would become just another headline. But this wasn't just a moment. It was a movement, because behind that scream was evidence powerful enough to shake the entire industry. Hollywood was in shock. And when the DOJ opened the first box from what is now called the Warner Archive, the world gasped. A memo dated June 18, 2025, just 2 days before Malcolm died. Subject: containment of crisis. It detailed how to silence Malcolm. If they couldn't stop him, they would distract the public with a tragedy. One line stood out: "The ocean remains a valid option." It wasn't metaphorical, it was murder. Then came the audio clips. Malcolm's voice, nervous, breathing hard. "They called me tonight, told me to stop, but I can't." Then the knock at the door. The video went black. She never saw him again after that night. People mourned. People got angry. Protests started in cities everywhere. Murals appeared overnight. He was erased. Even other actors, once silent, began to speak up. "He tried to warn me," one said. "I didn't listen." Another broke down in tears. "We should have believed him." And as the DOJ kept digging, they found something even darker. A guidebook, 32 pages, titled The Silence Machine, Version 2, How to Destroy Someone Without Laying a Finger on Them. Plant fake stories, pay off the media, bury real evidence, reward law enforcement. It was all there. Cosby wasn't acting alone. It was a whole system, built on fear, money, and silence. Malcolm had hacked into it, mapped it, exposed it. But someone got to him first. Then, another leak. A hard drive. No name, no return address. Just a folder called Buried. Inside, emails, transcripts, risk assessments. One note said, "If Warner goes public, activate backup plan." Pamela read it over and over. They planned this. They had it all planned. Cosby's lawyers tried to deny it, called it fake, blamed hackers, said Pamela was just grieving. Then came the voice memo. Malcolm, unaware his mic was still on. They said I could live quietly, or speak, and ... He laughed nervously. "I'm not afraid anymore. I'm just tired." Pamela posted it with one caption: "My son wasn't drowned. He was drowned by silence, money, and fear." The world couldn't look away anymore. Senators called for investigations. Special counsels were appointed. Networks launched internal reviews. The DOJ said Cosby's arrest was just the first step. But Pamela had one more thing. A letter from Malcolm. "If you're reading this, I didn't make it. But you'll fight, and the truth will win. I love you, Mom. Don't let them erase me." She carries it everywhere. Malcolm's mugshot is now more viewed than any of Cosby's old shows. He faces a mountain of charges, but more importantly, he faces the truth. Pamela made sure of it. She didn't want fame. She rarely spoke on camera. But once, she stood before the press, holding Malcolm's photo close. They tried to silence him, but they only made his voice louder. Then she walked away. No cameras, no smiles, just truth. Malcolm's legacy lives on. Universities have archives in his name. Nonprofits have launched in his honor. Murals now cover entire buildings. His quote, "They can kill the messenger, but not the message." His hometown renamed a street, Warner Way, and law schools now teach the case of the Shadow Network. But the most powerful moment came from one final video. The last file from the second hard drive. Pamela waited until the world was ready. She lit a candle, sat alone, pressed play. Malcolm appeared, calm, tired, but clear. "Hi, Mom, if you're seeing this, maybe it's the end, or maybe it's the start." He paused. "I didn't do this to be a hero. I did it because someone had to. You always told me to speak up when it mattered. This matters." He smiled. "They tried to silence me, but I had you. And I knew you'd finish what I started." His voice cracked. "I love you. I'm sorry. But thank you for having the loudest voice I've ever known." The screen went black. She whispered, "You weren't erased. You made history. Now the world remembers him, not just as a TV star, but as a symbol. A reminder that truth, even buried, can rise." Bill Cosby is still in prison. But that's not the victory. The real win is that a broken system was exposed. A machine that once hid predators now trembles. Malcolm left behind more than just files. He left a map. And now it's in our hands. This isn't just a story. It's a warning. If you made it this far, you know. Malcolm didn't say goodbye. He left a mission, and it belongs to all of us now. So now, after everything we've uncovered, we're left with more than just questions. We're left with emotions. Real emotions, a quiet sadness, a deep shock, and maybe even a little bit of anger. Because Malcolm-Jamal Warner wasn't just a name, a face from television, or a celebrity we once admired. He was a son, a father, a friend, and a man who deserved more than just silence. The USB drive, the recordings, the things his mother risked everything to share, those weren't just pieces of evidence. They were her last desperate attempt to give her son back his voice, a voice that had been taken, buried, and forgotten by the world. But not anymore. We've heard the truth now, or at least part of it. And once the truth is out, it can't be ignored. It can't be buried again. Maybe the people responsible are still out there. Maybe justice hasn't fully been served, but, at least now, Malcolm's story is being told. Loud, clear, and with heart. So if this touched you, if this made you feel something, don't let it stop here. Share his story. Keep his memory alive. Because silence is powerful, but voices are stronger. And today, we chose to speak. Rest easy. Malcolm, you are never forgotten. We were just waiting for the silence to break. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want more true stories like this, stories that go deeper, that matter, and that deserve to be heard. Until next time, take care of your loved ones, ask questions, and never be afraid to seek the truth, no matter how hidden it is.